Mm. Hey, what up? What up? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. Oh, wait, this is not Storytime. This is Late Night with BDD. What's up, you guys? Glad to be here. Welcome back. Welcome back to me. Welcome back to you all. I have missed you. Things have been a little bit crazy and hectic and interesting. We live in interesting times, they say. And when they say that, it's often meant as an insult. They live in interesting times. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. I see Rita Barley is with us. Zelda, Watcher Soko is here. Our friend Simon from across the pond. It's like 3:00 in the morning or something. NBC, Punxsutawney Honeymo, Aries Wanderer, the Trump Reaper, Tom Kellor, Katrina Jones, Ness from Connecticut, Meredith Powell. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, everybody. So let's see. Let's do a brief recap before we get into the rest of the content for the show. Tonight's show is Corrupt Clarence, E Jean Carroll Revenge. That's not really all that's going on, right? No. Earlier today, I got a diagnosis that thousands, probably millions of other Americans have gotten at some point in their lives, and I am one of them now. And I will discuss what that means going forward. I don't know if you've all seen it. If you've seen my Twitter feed, you've seen a video that is kind of like a snuff film right now. But a homeless person was murdered on the train, and this was different because it's not really being even treated like a murder. Corrupt Clarence Thomas is single-handedly looking like he's bringing down the entire integrity of the Supreme Court. We'll discuss the latest revelations behind his corruption at the highest level. And last but not least, E Jean Carroll's legal team has wrapped their case. They rested their case, and will Donald Trump make it back in time to confront that woman, as he said he was going to do later? We'll find out. If you're just joining us, please remember to hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button. If you hit the subscribe button, that means you will get a notification. Oh, wait, you have to hit that bell, the little ring-a-ding bell icon, so that you get a notification every time we go live, and hit the like button if you like what you see. You like what you see, you like what you hear, you're listening to me while you're driving or when you're on the bus or the subway or whatever. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty, what else happened this week? Some of you guys might have noticed I was at the White House. I was at the White House on Monday. I had received an invitation. I was honored to get this invitation to attend the celebration of the Eid. For those of you who don't know, in Islam, we fast for the month of Ramadan, and at the end, there's the Eid al-Fitr, and that's what we basically it's a feast. It's fellowship and feast. And I missed getting to see President Biden by that much. Once again, I'm within distance. So what had happened was I got an invitation, and along with the invitation, they did say that I had to provide proof of COVID vaccination. And I'm thinking, I got the proof on my phone. I got my my COVID passport or whatever, my vaccine passport. It's on my phone, digital. I'll just show them when I get there. No, you have to be tested within 24 hours of being in the same airspace as President Biden. So I was supposed to have gone locally. There's a place to swab up your nose, and I didn't go. So I was online. I was waiting for a good hour. I got there early because I was like, I want to camp out early and get a good spot. That way I'm guaranteed to be able to shake his hand. And so now the line starts, excuse me, the line started moving. I got to the front where the woman is, and she's like, okay, where's your wristband? And I was like, excuse me, a baking powder? So what wristband? Oh yeah, you're supposed to go and get yourself tested. I was like, God, I'm already vaccinated. I got 3. When was the last time you took the test? It's like a year ago. No, no, you had to go to this. There's a place over here. It's like 709 Jackson Avenue, and I was like, oh god damn! But I'm missing. I'm gonna be at the end of the line, and that's what happened. I did get my swab up my nose, and then I flew back to the thing. Everybody had already poured into the White House, and I was all the way at the tail end, and there was no room. There was no room for me. So I waited out in the hallway, and I watched President Biden give his speech and crack some jokes and et cetera, et cetera. I didn't get to shake his hand. So, oh well. But it was a nice fellowshipping opportunity. I got to meet Kaiser Khan. You guys might recall he is the Gold Star father who held up the Constitution in his hand while he was chastising Republicans and Donald Trump and all that is evil in this country. And Rashida Tlaib, I met her as well. She's very nice lady. So all in, it was a very I would say it was a rewarding experience. I spoke to some folks from Afghanistan, and I saw Qasim Rashid there too. I saw him for like a minute. He came over, gave me a hug. We talked for a minute or two, and he's like, look, I gotta go still over here. And then I never saw him again. He ghosted me. So anyway, if you were following my Twitter feed, you would have seen that I made some kind of announcement today. You guys remember Wilford Brimley, right? Wilford Brimley, the actor with that spectacular mustache of his. Most people, a lot of people are probably familiar with him from being in movies like Cocoon or The Thing. He was really good in The Thing, actually, and in commercials. One commercial in particular where he was talking about, there we go, Tom. Spelling the diabetes. Yeah. My name is Wilford Brimley. I'm here to talk about diabetes. And that was like a running joke for that guy. He was the guy who pronounced it diabetes. Yeah. So I'm able to kind of chuckle about it now because, it is what it is. And God damn, I was not happy to get this news. Years ago, about 8 years ago, another doctor I had, my primary care physician, told me that I had high blood pressure and that I was going to have to take medication. I hate taking medication, yo. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. And so, I said, look, I don't want to take this stuff. And she's like, you have to, So I said, what if I lose weight and I get off the medication? And she said, yes, actually. So I've been off that high blood pressure medication for a while. And I don't know, don't tell my doctor this, but I probably probably need to get back on that stuff. Um, but yeah, I took a blood test last week. It was, as part of my annual physical, and so she had scheduled a Zoom call with me to go over my results, and I kind of already knew, and I was planning on saying, "Hey, look, the night before I took my blood test, I had a big, massive piece of cake." I thought that was what was causing my high reading. And she said, no. But before she even got to that, she scolded me for rescheduling my an appointment she made for me with a cardiologist. And she did that because my EKG reading was abnormal. And so she was highly concerned about that. And Aries Wanderer, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for the kind donation. I rescheduled my cardiology appointment because it was Monday. And Monday, I had to go to the White House. It's not often you get an invite to go to an official event and get an opportunity to possibly shake the president's hand. So I told her, and she couldn't care less. She was like, this is serious. You have to take this seriously. It is your heart. You only have one. If I make you an appointment to see a cardiologist, it's not because I want you to visit a different doctor. It's because it's serious. Your heart reading was abnormal, blah, 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 blah. She was very upset. She kind of set the tone for the rest of that Zoom call. And then when she told me that my blood reading indicates that it's not even pre-diabetes. It's not pre-diabetes. I'm like fully in there. I'm championship diabetes. Not to make light of it, but yeah. So I fully. She said the readings that were taken were being measured over a 3-month period or something, and I see it now. I have been kind of binging straight up for the past 3 to 4 months. I've been going nuts on the sugar, nuts, cake, cookies, candy every day, every night. Like two fisting snacks. It's bad. I'm laughing, but I did this to myself. The good news is I can get myself at a donut. Love donuts. I remember the last donut I had too was a Boston cream donut, and I had that on my way to the White House on Monday. So I think I have to definitely cut out the candy. And she also recommended that I cut out the, I haven't really been drinking sugary beverages, but she said stay away from sugary beverages. So absolutely, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, if I do have them, it's once in a while. I'll like during the summer, I like a bottle of iced tea. But now I have to rethink my whole way of life. I have to lose weight. I have to walk more, exercise more. Yes, Lucy, thank you. No soda. Lucy says, and no donut. Zelda says, yeah, soda and donuts. That's a great combination right there. And let's see. Oh, and Foxhill Dreams reminding me that there is sugar-free candy. So I like how you think. And I would think that way too. But maybe it's more than just it's more than just finding loopholes. Maybe it's just kind of changed the way. I don't know. So I tweeted about this and I got a lot of helpful suggestions. Some people said that I need to hook up with a diabetes educator. So that's a thing. So I have to do my research and look into that. Um, I'm not going to say I was worried, or well, yeah, I kind of was worried and scared because you know, for as long as I can remember, one of the few things I know about diabetes is that you have to take insulin, and that is often in the form of a shot. And yes, I learned today that the medication that my doctor is prescribing me requires a once weekly shot, which I think I can handle. I'm not afraid of the needle. I'm fine. I don't like needles, but whatever. Um, it is for my health. Uh, and I also have to change my diet. That is important. Change the diet, exercise, monitor my blood levels, et cetera, et cetera. And Tom, you're batting 1,000 tonight. Well, I don't know what's up. You are inside my brain tonight because Ozempic. Wait, let me put the music off because is that better, you guys? Probably, right? Ozempic. You know. Never believe it's not so. They kind of ruined that song for me. Those guys were one-hit wonders. I couldn't even tell you who sang that song. It's it's Magic is the name of the song. It's Magic. But the Ozempic folks, they bought it and now it's only Ozempic. um, but those of you who are in my neck of the woods, age wise, will remember that one hit wonder song. Tom says he just started it. Congratulations to you, my friend. Um, and that's not the only medicine I'm going to be on. I also have to I also have a high cholesterol. So I'm on something that is the generic version of Lipitor. And I was talking to Scribble My Dibbles before the show, and she was telling me what it is, and I can't remember. So now I'm going to look it up. Let me see if one of you guys beats me to it. It begins with an A. Atorvastatin. Atorvastatin, which is the generic name for Lipitor, or commonly known as a statin. There you go, Tom. Oh shit. Foxhill Dream says her sister lost 60 pounds with Ozempic. That's a lot of pounds. That is a lot of pounds. No, Punxsutawney Mo, that could not have been ELO that did. It couldn't have been. ELO is a major band, not a one-hit wonder. It was a one-hit wonder that came up with that It's Magic song. Jenny Rayner says she takes Lipitor, has been for 11 years. This is my problem. I don't want to be taking this medicine for eternity, for the rest of my life. I would like to somehow get my situation to where maybe I don't have to take it every night. This medicine I have to take every night, apparently. But then Scribble My Dibbles says she believes that it is genetic. So with it runs in our family. So, oh well, such is life. So let's see, where was I here? Okay, so let's continue the show. I thank you guys for your support. A bunch of you have reached out to me on my tweet threads and through DMs. So thank you for that. I don't always get to read my DMs, nor do I always get to reply to them because that inbox is crazy. But I thank you guys. I thank you for the support because I really was kind of unnerved by that earlier today. You just it kind of it's like it's a reminder of your mortality. When we were kids, at least when I was a kid, my mom would always criticize me. What do you think you're, Superman? Put a jacket on. Wear a hat. And as kids, when we were young, we thought we were impervious. We go and do the craziest shit and figure everything will be fine. And now, the older you get, you're more risk averse because you are aware, like, you know, this movie's almost over. So yeah, I just gotta I gotta watch my health, watch my diet, sleep, get a better, put myself back on a better sleep schedule, all that stuff. Oh, Rita Bartley, thank you. There it is right there. Pilot is the group. Thank you for Googling that. Pilot is the group who came up with oh, 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 it's magic, you know. Never even not so. Okay, let us continue, shall we? Dun, 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 dun. So the person you're seeing on the screen um, lost his life. I believe it was early. It might have been earlier this week, or was it last week? His name was Jordan Neely. Jordan Neely was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and appears to be pretty good. He does have to look down. Then he put on the jacket. I have not had the opportunity, the benefit of seeing his moves, but if you're doing Michael Jackson, you better have those moves down because people will call you out in a heartbeat. If you were like some bootleg, if you're doing a Michael Jackson and your kick isn't on, the leg kick thing, people will call you out in a heartbeat. So I'm sure he probably was pretty good with the moves. Um, if you've ever ridden on the New York City subway, huh? If you are a commuter, if you ride that train, like I used to ride the train uh, from all the way up in Inwood when I was a kid, Inwood, Dyckman Street, all the way from Dyckman Street down to 14th Street, right? Take the one train. I've also taken the A train. I've taken the D train, the 6 train. When I lived in the Bronx, I was taking the 6. Um, and if you're on the train, you know that you got panhandlers. It's always something, you know. It can be somebody who is says they're who is legitimately blind, and they come and somehow, or they're deaf, and they leave a card on your lap or something, and they're asking for a donation. Then you have other people who come and they'll sing. They'll actually perform for you. Um, there are other people who get on the train. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to, and as soon as they say, I'm sorry, you're like, everybody is like a collective. We'll roll our eyes because here comes the spiel, down on my luck, et cetera, et cetera. Some people, I guess they're doing that maybe for the tourists who have never seen their repertoire, but these people are perpetually in that state. And it makes you, as a human being, you hate to be in that heart space, in that brain space where you're callous and you shut your heart off and you're like, man, they don't really need that. Your brain goes through that. I'm sorry, this is just, it is what it is. You cannot give to every single person that walks through a door on the subway. You just can't, because literally, from if you are riding the train at least 5 stops, you're going to see two people, 5 stops, two people asking for money, guaranteed. Oh, thank you, Dia Vapes. Dia Vapes. I hope that's how I pronounce it. She's saying, I found you here because of Twitter. Uh, thank you for that. Welcome to the show. um, so anyway, I was saying all that because uh, Jordan Neely, the guy I was talking about, this Michael Jackson impersonator that we don't know what his level of skill was with his impersonations. We just know that he was doing it at one point. Fell on hard times. Sometimes, when people are performing in the train, it's not necessarily indicative of them falling on hard times. Some people are just, they're very talented, like those breakdancing kids who know how to use those poles. They get in the train and they do their routine, and they pass a hat around, and then maybe they're with their buddies and they're having a great time and play music and blah blah blah. They just want to show off their skills, or they want to hustle and make, they, who knows, they could probably make $100 in 10 stops. That's a great haul. And some people are just trying to survive. So Jordan Neely was on the train, and he was in a state, and you've seen those people too. If you've ridden on the New York City subway, you've seen people who are tortured souls, people who, saying that they're down on their luck doesn't cover it. They're going through some hell. They're living on the street. And speaking as someone who has lived on the street, I have personally lived that life. And don't feel sorry for me, because when I did it, I was on drugs, and that was a choice. That was actually a choice. Bad choice. So, but living on the street, it's not easy. That shit is rough. It's rough. So here he was. I guess he was on the train and he was venting. And I know both sides of this equation, right? I know, I remember being filthy. I remember being unwashed. I remember being aware of the fact that people were sitting a good distance away from me because I smelled so bad, because I hadn't showered in, I don't know, weeks, a month, 2 months, maybe. Who knows? It had been a long time, and I was wearing like 3 or 4 jackets, and I was pathetic. Uh, and then I've been on the other side too. I've been on the other side where I'm standing not too far away from a brother who has seen better days, and I always think, there, but for the grace of God go I, because I was there myself. I don't look down on them, because that was me, and you don't know what somebody's story is. You don't know if they had lost everything in a fire, they lost their job, if they, there's so many different things that contribute to someone being unhoused. I understand the term is now unhoused. I used to say homeless. People have pulled me up and say it's unhoused. So there are reasons why people become unhoused. I think very rarely does anyone choose that. It just, it's just something that happens as a matter of circumstances. Life comes at you fast sometimes. So this guy was venting, and the people in the subway car, as far as I know, there was probably only 3 people there, and one was a former Marine, and he was he knew exactly what the hell he was doing. He knew how to take this man down. So at some point, I guess the Jordan Neely had grown increasingly agitated, and the guy, the Marine, the former Marine, felt like he had to restrain him, physically restrain him. And so what he did was he applied a chokehold that is illegal. Like the police department can't use it anymore. They had used it on Eric Garner and so many other um, people who are now deceased because they used that illegal choke hold. Anyway, and there were two other people there that were also helping to restrain Jordan Neely, holding his arms down until Jordan Neely was not moving anymore. And and he died. It's weird. It's very weird to me. Like this guy, I guess he thought he was doing a good deed. But rule number one in New York, it might sound callous, but rule number one is you mind your own fucking business. That is rule number one. Mind your own fucking business. And I want to echo the Trump Reapers sentiment here. I think it's spot on. Dude didn't have to kill him. He didn't have to. If you are using this hold and you don't know how to gauge your own strength, you don't know how to gauge the amount of adrenaline pumping through your body, you don't know how to gauge the amount of resistance that you're getting and no longer getting from this person, you don't need to be using that hold. People are watching too many fucking fight movies and videos. Now, I know it is a thing on the right. I know it is a thing on the right. They like to blame mass shootings on video games or on weed or on movies. And this is not what I'm doing. I am saying that, and I don't necessarily know that the person who killed Jordan Neely is like a fan of fight videos or mixed martial arts. But that is a thing. That is a move, the sleeper hold. And people often, if you on Twitter, you will come across all of a sudden in the past 2 months, every other video I see is fight something, this fight, that fight, whatever. It's fight videos. They're all over Twitter. And they kind of suck you in because it's dramatic. It's two human beings facing off, and one of them is getting a beat down. And sometimes let's put it on me. Sometimes I do get a visceral kind of feeling from watching that. You're like, oh shit. Sometimes, you guys remember that dude used the N-word on a guy in a store, and the guy dropped his can. Next thing you know, he was coming at him with that can, pow, in the face. That was kind of rewarding. So, but now it's all over Twitter. That's every 4 or 5 videos is another one of those things. And I wonder if that didn't contribute to this guy. Did he think, because somebody was clearly videotaping it as it was going down? Someone was recording, like that. The picture I just showed you of him applying the sleep hold, choke hold, whatever. That's a snuff film now. If you guys don't know what a snuff film is, a snuff film is when somebody gets murdered in real life on video. Those are actually illegal, snuff films. So that's why I opted not to share that with you guys. A still picture is enough. And so the perpetrator, the guy who killed Jordan Neely, is not under arrest. He's not in jail. Um, he's free as a bird. Nobody even knows his name. We haven't gotten a proper picture of him or anything. Police investigate. Can't even say they investigated. The police questioned him and released him. All right, you did the right thing. Bye. You sure you don't want to charge me nothing? Not assault. Guy's dead. No, you're good. You're good. Go on. I didn't want to say it, Meredith. I'm not sure that is the reason, but I can't argue with you. My gut, my gut went there. It feels like that. And this feels like it's going to be another flashpoint. It's not quite like George Floyd. It's not. It's a different scenario. George Floyd was callously kneeled on by an officer of the law, callously for 9 minutes, while other officers stood by and did nothing. This is not the same. That guy might have been a trained former Marine, but he's not a cop. And, as far as I know, he didn't have any medical training or anything. I personally feel like it was an unfortunate accident. I don't think he meant to kill this. I didn't think he meant to kill Jordan Neely. I'm saying that now. I don't know what was in his heart. I don't know what words were exchanged between them before that happened, but I don't think he's a vigilante. I could be wrong. Maybe he did have nefarious motives, but I can't say that because I'm not, what can I say? So anyway, we don't know what's going to happen. The Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, made a really callous remark today about this occurrence. She said, behavior has consequences. And I was like, no, you didn't. She did. Behavior has consequences. Then, after the backlash from that idiotic statement, then she came out, oh, yeah, we have to investigate because, clearly, man should not have been killed and blah, blah, blah. Some stupid shit. So we'll see. You guys will find out when I do. In the meantime, before I forget, let me just remind you all, if you've just joined us on the show here, this is Late Night with BDD. Please remember to subscribe and hit the like button. Looks like the thumbs up. Make sure you hit it. If you haven't hit it yet, I'm very sad. Okay. Clarence Thomas is easily my least favorite justice, long before the recent slew of revelations about his financial activities. Long before. I never cared for him when the whole what's her name, Anita Hill thing went down, and we learned that he was making sexual harassment remarks. He was sexually harassing her. And wait, did I have that right? Is it Anita Hill? What the hell? Help me out here, you guys. And he talked about there being a pubic hair on a Coca-Cola can. Yeah, disgusting guy. So I didn't care for him back then. I also don't care for, I didn't care for his stand as far as policy goes. I didn't care for his stand against affirmative action because you know what? Clarence Thomas, brother, you benefited from affirmative action, and now you want to pull up the ladder behind you? You don't want to let anyone else get a leg up on that ladder, huh? piece of shit. And then he's basically the Republican rubber stamp on the court. Doesn't matter what the issue is. I feel like he just asks. He doesn't even ask. If the case has a conservative lean towards it, he's voting conservative. Always, always. He's just a rubber. You can count on him to always vote for whatever the right, as opposed to the left, whatever the conservative position is. That's where his vote is going to be. I don't think he bases his decisions on the merits of the case. I think he's just a Republican rubber stamp. Period. And we've learned in the past month or two that there is a man in his life, a man by the name of Harlan Crow. And Harlan Crow is a billionaire, not a millionaire like Donald Trump, but a billionaire, probably closer to, I don't know, Elon Musk or some other billionaire. Maybe he's in Mike Bloomberg territory. Maybe he's around like the 60 to 100 billion. But he's a billionaire, and he is not afraid to flaunt his wealth and use it to his advantage. And how has he been using it? He's been using it to acquire a Supreme Court justice for himself. Thank you, Katrina. He's literally owned. Literally owned. What's he been doing? He's been lavishing Clarence Thomas with fancy gifts like free private jet rides. I've never been on a private jet. I wouldn't mind being on one. But if I was a Supreme Court justice, I definitely would need to watch my P's and Q's. This guy is getting all these kinds of expensive gifts, private jet rides, private yacht rides, staying in a fancy resort, free of charge. All this shit is free of charge. These things would cost us tens of thousands of dollars, right? Harlan Crow purchased a house owned by Clarence Thomas's mother, did tens of thousands of dollars worth of renovations to the house, and that was that. And Clarence Thomas didn't declare none of this shit. He didn't declare any of it. That is some fucking crooked shit. That is the definition of crooked. Look, if you're a janitor, if you're the janitor of a middle school and some billionaire wants to lavish gifts on you, then by all means, man, player, do you. But you are one of 9 privileged people sitting on the highest court in the land. And you are allowing yourself to be plied by a billionaire with millions of dollars worth of gifts and freebies. That shit is wrong. I don't care if the cover story is, oh well, Harlan Crow didn't have any official business in front of the court. What about Harlan Crow's friends? Huh? You inviting Clarence Thomas to your resort, and you happen to have friends who, let's say, I don't know, they're CEOs of some multinational corporations that have a vested interest in a case that is before the Supreme Court. What do? Well, you invite those rich friends to this resort on the same weekend that you're inviting Clarence Thomas. And you just happen to mention to your friends, hey, listen, Clarence Thomas is going to be my guest at this resort. Feel free to ask him whatever questions, Ask him questions. He's a good friend of mine. He's there because he's a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. It is pertinent. Trump Reaper pointing out Harlan Crow collects Nazi fernalia. You funny. Nazi fernalia. That's a new one. That's clever. It's clever. But today we got a new revelation that, and this is from ProPublica. If these guys don't win a Pulitzer Prize, something is wrong, because this reporting is outstanding. Seriously, I don't remember seeing exposés this incredible. I don't know. You tell me when you've seen something more impressive. But here's this: Clarence Thomas had a child in private school. Harlan Crow paid the tuition. And let me just read the blurb here. Thomas did not report the tuition payments from Crow on his annual financial disclosures. Several years earlier, Thomas disclosed a gift of $5,000 for Martin's education from another friend. It is not clear why he reported that payment, but not Crow's. And that's interesting because Harlan Crow was actually paid for, I believe the kid's name was, forgive me if I got this wrong. I think the kid's name was Martin. It's two M's. Martin or Marv, something, two M's. Martin. It's his grand nephew, Clarence Thomas's grand nephew, but Clarence Thomas is raising him as his own child. And this was not cheap tuition. When you're talking about tuition is never cheap. But this fucking tuition was $6,200 per month. Scott Samuelson, you did not miss the live stream. It is going on right now as we speak. We are live, my brother. Thank you for attending. Yeah. $6,200 per month. Do the math. For 10 months. That's $62,000 for 1 year. 1 year. As far as I know, Harlan Crow is paid for 2 years. That's, do the math. It's like $124,000. That's a lot of money. And these guys at ProPublica, they had receipts. The reporting, the level of reporting is just phenomenal. It's outstanding. It's standing ovation level, incredible. One of the reporters from ProPublica spoke to a former administrator from one of those schools, and they found out that and they got an actual receipt for the payment here. And I'm just going to blow this up here so you guys can see this all. Yeah, Crow Holdings, $6,200. So some of us may be a little bit, we may be a little jaded, seeing stuff like this because, we lived through 4 or 5 years of Trump and his scandals. So maybe this pales in comparison. But think about this. This is the Supreme Court. In your whole life, in my whole life, it never dawned on me that people that are, chosen for a lifetime seat on the highest court in the land, there's only 9 of them deciding these landmark cases that affect millions of people. It never occurs to me that any of those people, as that they're conservative and liberal and progressive, whatever, it doesn't matter. I never thought that Justice Alito or what was that other guy, Scalia? I never thought these guys were on the take, to be perfectly honest with you. I didn't like their political views, but it never dawned on me that they were bought and paid for. Never. because that's fucking up the game right there. Never dawned on me, never occurred to me. And I think uh the first time that ever occurred to me was Brett Kavanaugh. When Brett Kavanaugh uh appeared on the scene and suddenly his debts disappeared. Poof. Poof, like the Avengers at the end of Avengers, and everybody got the snap that turned into dust. Yeah, that's how Kavanaugh's debts just disappeared. Almost $200,000 in debt gone overnight. So that was like the first time it occurred to me that something ain't right. Because Supreme Court justice can now be bought. And this thing, Thomas has been doing for decades now, at least 20 years. He's been doing this. This guy befriended, and he just had ulterior motives. After Citizens United was decided, Harlan Crow just went nuts on the political donations. Nuts. His donations increased almost 300%. This is insane. And Republicans are trying to gaslight us and trying to make people think, oh, it's the Democrats are politicizing. Fuck you guys. Enough of this bullshit. This is the Supreme Court. Can nothing be sacred anymore? For crying out loud. I accept that the court has a conservative lean to it. I've already seen some verdicts come out that were actually favorable to us. I know that even with a conservative court, we can still get some reasonably, some reasonable amount of balance in some of these decisions. But not anymore. Not anymore. The fix is in. The fix is in. And I don't know if anything's going to come of it, He needs to be held accountable, but there are no rules on the books holding him accountable. So that's the first order of business, is that they need to institute some rules and regulations. They have to make it mandatory, not optional, that all of these kinds of gifts, no matter who you get it from, no matter what the circumstance is, you getting a gift of north of $2,000 in value, you better be reporting that shit pronto, or $1,000. Even $1,000 is a hefty gift. You got to kind of see, because they'll figure out some kind of loophole and have like 15 different people send somebody, a gift, a $1,000 gift every day or something, Loopholes. Always a loophole for breaking the law. And speaking of loopholes, the loopiest of all of the holes that that are exploited, Donald Trump knows how to exploit loopholes. And he spent most of his adult life in court, suing this person, suing that person, suing people that he owes money to. The audacity, huh? He stiffs workers and then he sues them in court. Can you believe that shit? He's a dirty motherfucker. People talk about Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, but I that's not why we dislike him. We dislike him because he's a sleazy bastard who is always getting away with shit. Always. And it's annoying. It's annoying. Oh, why are you guys always on Trump's case? Because you know what? He's just always doing shit. He is the guy who had Trump Foundation closed, It's supposed to be a charity. He abused it, used it as an ATM. Trump University closed for fraud, had to settle a $25 million case. The Trump Foundation, wait, Trump, or excuse me, the Trump Organization, also fraud. Recently convicted. Where they had a bullshit, like ridiculously low financial amount attached to the Trump Organization's penalty. It's ridiculously low. Um, and what's his CFO, Alan Weisselberg, is doing hard jail time. He's in Rikers, I think. Anyway, it looks like this one uh, is the first of several to catch up to Donald Trump. E Jean Carroll. Somebody said Trump Reaper said E Jean Carroll rocks. I gotta agree with this wholeheartedly. She is one brave lady. I don't know what it feels like to be sexually assaulted, and I don't ever want to know. And I don't want anyone that I know to ever know what that is like. But what I've heard about it is that it is awful. It is humiliating. It is painful. Um, and often the victim doesn't want to tell anybody. The victim feels guilty, like they caused it, which is horrible. So, like the animal, the monster that raped them, they like have that hold on them long after the actual assault. So here's an instance where Donald Trump said that he not only did he refute E. Jean Carroll's accusation, he said she wasn't his type, right? Which that was dispelled when they played when they played tape of him mistaking an earlier picture of E. Jean Carroll for his wife Marla Maples. He thought E. Jean Carroll was his second wife because, of course, she's not his type. But I say E. Jean Carroll is brave as hell because it takes someone brave to stand up and to not only face the person who assaulted you, sexually assaulted you, but to face Donald Trump. That when that person is Donald Trump, that's a whole nother ball of wax because uh, we all know that he is vindictive, he is evil, and he tends to get away with a lot of shit, right? So she's taking a big risk. This asshole has supporters and followers who I, I look. I know that they troll me on Twitter, and I didn't bring Donald Trump to court. I can only imagine the kind of threats and vitriol that is awaiting E. Jean Carroll if she hasn't already been subjected to it. She's putting herself out on Front Street. She testified. She fucking testified. Very few people testify against Donald Trump because he kind of is like a mobster, you know. But she testified, so she is brave as hell. And she sat there on the stand, and Joe Tacopina, Donald Trump's lawyer, got in her grill and questioned why she didn't scream. And she says, the fact of whether or not I screamed did not change the fact that he raped me. And some people don't scream. Joe Tacopina is disgusting. He's a disgusting person who decided to use the fire and brimstone approach and just try to discredit her. And it was abuse. It was abusive the way he spoke to her, the way he treated her on the stand. And I don't think that did his client any favors. Donald Trump didn't do himself any favors. He did not show up, so they had to play his deposition And he said some very unflattering things about himself in the deposition. He doubled down basically on the Access Hollywood tape in which he said, everybody by now recalls that was that moment. He said, "You grabbed by the pussy. When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab by the pussy." And he said when questioned in this deposition, he said, "Yeah, wait a minute. Let me give me a second here. I have the actual quote. He says, historically, that's true with stars. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately, or fortunately. Fortunately, he says. Fortunately, that's true. Fortunately, it's true that he's allowed to sexually assault women. Double down on that shit. The only thing that worries me about this trial is that the um, the jury is 6 men and 3 women. I feel like by I shouldn't be shocked by an adverse decision, but I would be shocked. I would be really, I'd be angry if they don't give E Jean Carroll her due. She um, can be awarded up to, I believe it is $2.7 million, and it should be more. Whoops. So he's in Scotland right now. I don't know if he's left Scotland yet, but today he said something like he's going to come back to New York and confront that woman. She's vile. She lied. She's a liar. Which I don't buy for a second. He's not coming back to New York. Why? So he can be booed even more loudly than he was the first time, the last time he came. I don't think he's interested in that. And the legal team has already wrapped their case. Um, this case is pretty much over, so I don't see what would be gained by him coming back. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. So, so that's it. That's it. After that is over, we had some good news about the Jack Smith case last week. Mike Pence testified for 5 hours, and this was so significant that Jack Smith himself attended uh, Mike Pence's deposition. It's very interesting, or his testimony, because Jack Smith doesn't normally attend these testimonies. He just lets them go, and then he reviews notes and et cetera, et cetera. So Fox Hill Dream says we shouldn't let Trump back in America ever. Indeed. Lacey says historically victims have been trained not to tell, and if they do, they aren't believed. That is the harshest reality. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. So guys, any questions for me? Let me know. Speak now or forever holding your peace. Trump Reaper says Pensifer sang like a canary. Indeed. Let's hope he did. I mean, that is the testimony couldn't get any higher than Mike Pence. He's the guy who was in the room when it happened. So he's, Trump and Pence fought hard to try to block Pence's testimony, and they failed. So let's hope. The Trump Reaper wants to know: am I still selling signed books? Um, suppose. um, I suppose. I haven't gotten any requests right now of late, and I'm totally fine with that. I still even haven't even gotten back to finishing up the second book, and that's partly because I've been slammed with a bunch of different things going on, and also partly because I'm getting cold feet. It feels some days it feels like he is going to pay, and other days it feels like, what am I doing? What am I doing? He's not going to spend a day in jail. I feel like that sometimes. I have those moments of great doubt. And sure, I could just make a, you know, prison porn, book where, in reality, he didn't really go to prison, but in our book, yeah, he does. But it's bittersweet. So I don't know. Smila J wants to know, how are you and the family? I am well. Wifey, son, and daughter, all sick. Go figure. Go figure. I try to tell them, take the vitamin C like Dad does. I take vitamin C. I take those big 1,000 milligram tablets. My mom taught me that. She said, if you ever get sick, if you get like a cold, take 2,000 milligrams per day for at least 3 days. Do that. But I try to maintain just the 1,000 per day, 1,000 mgs per day. Foxhill Dreams says, BDD, please listen to the doctors and take care of yourself. And I shall. I learned a few years ago, almost a few years ago. I think it's almost been 2 years since I quit smoking. Wait. Let me try that again. It's been almost 2 years since I quit smoking. Okay. Um, and that felt like a hurdle that I was never going to get past. But I got past that. I followed doctor's instructions, and I did it to the T. And almost 2 years now, I'm still going. I don't know about going strong. Just the other day, I swear it was Monday. Monday, I I was walking to the train station in DC. I was walking to Union Station in Washington DC, and I was walking through some areas that were a little rough, I guess. And I got an urge to smoke cigarette, and I literally thought about, I could just ask that person right there if I could buy a loose cigarette for $1. I had this whole thing in my head. And then I'd come home smelling like cigarette smoke. Wife would be like, what happened? What'd you do? And I'd be like, oh, I had a rough day and I had this whole thing. I had this whole thing in my head. You guys don't know. It's tough. I'm 2 years removed, almost 2 years removed from smoking a cigarette, but I still get those cravings. And even worse, though, it's my brain. My brain is like my own worst enemy sometimes. It's constantly looking for loopholes and rationales. And come on, we're having a rough day. We need one. No, we don't. No, we don't. Hold that. So yeah, no, I haven't smoked. I'm just telling you guys, what my thought process was and how difficult it is. But I think if I can kick cigarettes, which is one of the hardest habits I've had to quit, I think I can knock out this next challenge too, of the sweets, the candies, and the sugars. I can do it. I can do it. Smila J says, loopholes are fantastic. Aren't they though? They are. They are indeed. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Late Night with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. And if you have not yet gotten your shot, help yourself out. Keep yourself safe. Get your shot. Do it. Do it. Do it. Wear your mask. Keep your social distance 6 feet or better. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a lovely, wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm going to say another shout out here to some new faces. Not Jenny Rayner. Hi, you're not new, but these comments are moving. Here's Dia Vapes. This is new here. Thank you for being with us here. Our friend Tom was pretty active tonight. Unless you've changed your screen name and I already know you, this is a new name to me. So thank you. You've been a lot of fun with us tonight here. Let's see. I'm looking for. I don't think I see any other newbies. Zelda, no, we've been here. It's Marvin here. Says congrats. Thank you, Marvin. I like to call out these newer folks. The rest of you guys, you know I love you. You know I do. I love you guys. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you here the next time I have a show. You will know because I will announce it. I will see you then. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Messed up my whole outro thing. Okay, so you guys, I love you all. Peace. General Putnam says oatmeal for breakfast. Will never do it. I will never do oatmeal. I hate oatmeal with a passion. I don't like it. I don't want it. But thank you for the suggestion. Hey, Bernadette, there you are. Did I not see you earlier? I didn't see you earlier, but thank you for saying goodnight. Here's my buddy Simon Metcalf. I'm still awake, damn near breakfast time. What are you doing that you're up at this hour? Do you just, I appreciate you, my brother. I don't know how it is that you managed to be awake at this hour, but very cool. These are some quite intricate emojis here, and don't know what language that is. Is that Korean? I'm not sure, but welcome. Welcome to you. Tom says, me am new. I thought so. Hey, Tanya Vav, I see you there. Welcome, Tanya. Glad to have you. Aries Wanderer says, I still drink ginge, but I've been drinking lemon, lime, and strawberry ice water. Watcher Soko, I'm glad this made your week. It made my week too. I need these. I need to keep on doing these things as often as I can. I haven't been doing them that regularly, as regularly as I used to do them, because life is tough. Life is tough. Thank you, Jenny Rayner. You're the best. Awesome. You too, my friend Scott. Thank you. Oh, Simon says it's insomnia. Insomnia is a bish. That's rough. All right, you guys. So, as I like to say on the show, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You need to leave.